October 17, 2022, Northern Michigan. Out of nowhere, gunfire erupted across the farmland. Not just a couple of shots, I'm talking back-to-back volleys. Dogs barked, pickup trucks' headlights lit up the fog, and farmers jumped out of bed wondering what in the world was happening. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight's story happens out in the quiet farmland up in northern Michigan, where something wild started going down in the middle of the night. This wasn't some random attack or crime scene. This was a full-blown deer control operation, something that had been planned for months because deer had gotten completely out of control. Over the last couple of years, their numbers had exploded. Herds of 40, 50, sometimes 60 deer were running across private fields, flattening crops, stripping soybeans bare, and even venturing dangerously close to houses and roads. Farmers had had enough. In the 3 counties affected most, losses from crops alone had topped $37 million, not counting broken fences, damaged irrigation systems, and livestock feed that was completely destroyed. The deer weren't just eating crops anymore. They were bold, walking straight into neighborhoods, darting across highways, and sometimes even charging at people or livestock. By early October, there had been 9 major road accidents with deer, 2 of them fatal. Farmers and authorities realized it wasn't just about money, it was about safety too. That's when the state decided to act, and fast. Dozens of licensed hunters were brought in, each carrying high-powered rifles like bolt-action 308s and .3006s, some semi-automatic hunting rifles, all equipped with thermal and night vision scopes. Shotguns loaded with heavy slugs were also ready for areas where deer might sneak too close to barns or roads. Every single gun was logged and assigned to a specific zone. Safety was key. No overlapping zones, no mistakes. Hunters set up along hilltops, at the edges of cornfields, and in tree lines. Trained dogs quietly patrolled the brush, alerting handlers to deer movement without making noise. Then the moment came. As the first herd moved from the woods into an open field, the command went out. The shooting started. Bright flashes lit up the night as rifles fired in rapid bursts. Deer scattered in panic, running in every direction, but the hunters were ready. The goal wasn't random shooting, it was to reduce numbers safely and quickly. Thermal scopes made it possible to track movement even through tall corn, while radio teams directed hunters to intercept fleeing herds. The operation lasted for hours. Deer were taken down, some ran short distances before being captured or safely euthanized. Traps baited with corn and apples were used for younger deer that could be relocated, but the main focus stayed on the adults that were causing the most damage. By sunrise, over 1,200 rounds had been fired across multiple zones, hundreds of deer had been removed, and the farmland was quiet for the first time in months. Farmers walked through their flattened fields, counting losses and taking stock. One farmer said quietly, "I've been farming here for 20 years, and I've never seen my cornfield like this. Without this, we'd be bankrupt by winter." The numbers were staggering. Over 1,200 acres of corn and soybeans had been damaged. The cost? Easily over $250,000 in lost crops for just this small area. Roads had fewer deer now, reducing accidents. Even the livestock was safer, with fewer reports of deer trampling calves or goats. But the operation wasn't without controversy. Animal rights groups called it cruel, while farmers argued it was necessary. "We're not doing this for fun," said one farmer. These deer were destroying lives, not just crops. Local authorities emphasized that every shot was controlled, every hunter licensed, and every zone carefully monitored to avoid overkill. By the end of the day, the deer numbers were temporarily reduced, the fields could start to recover, and farmers could breathe a little easier. It was intense, chaotic, and emotional. But it was necessary. The forced deer shooting operation showed just how far humans sometimes have to go when nature spirals out of control. Deer may look peaceful grazing in the woods during the day, but when their numbers explode, when crops are ruined, roads are dangerous, and livelihoods are threatened, drastic action becomes the only choice. That night in Michigan reminded everyone that managing wildlife isn't easy, and sometimes protecting life, property, and safety means making tough, uncomfortable decisions.